Welcome to our presentation on goal setting for Everett Transit's Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, and thank you all for attending. My name is Amanda Kerber, and I'm the Grants Program Manager for Everett Transit. In this presentation, we'll provide a bit of information on what the DBE program is, how the goal setting process works, and a chance to discuss the process at the end of the presentation. To start off, I'm going to give a brief background on the DBE program and its requirements. While there will be a discussion portion of the presentation later, feel free to comment in the chat if any questions come to mind during the presentation. As a recipient of Federal Transit Administration funds, Everett Transit actively participates in several civil rights programs, one of which is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or DBE program. We aim to use DBEs in our federally assisted projects whenever possible. Every 3 years, Everett Transit sets goals for DBE participation based on what projects are planned for the coming 3 years and what past participation has been for similar projects. A DBE is defined as a for-profit small business where a socially and economically disadvantaged individual owns at least 51% interest and also controls management and daily business operations. Your business must meet the definition of a small business as determined by the Small Business Administration guidelines. These guidelines change depending on what industry you are in. Socially and economically disadvantaged individuals include women, minorities, and other individuals on a case-by-case basis. For example, a person who is neither a minority or a woman could show they are socially and economically disadvantaged because of a disability or other circumstance. To participate in the DBE program, a small business must receive DBE certification from the state, generally through the Uniform Certification Program, or UCP. Washington's UCP is through the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises, or OMWBE. Navigate to their page to learn more about the certification process and the requirements. To begin, we are going to describe the steps of the DBE goal-setting process, which includes determining a base figure for the goal and making adjustments to the base figure. Step 1 is determining the base figure, which involves several components or sub-steps. First, we must identify which of our upcoming projects will be federally funded throughout the goal period of federal financial year 2023 to 2026. Next, we must break up the projects into different components and assign NAICS codes to the project. NAICS codes, or North American Industry Classification System codes, are used to classify what type of business will work on each portion of the project. Thirdly, we will determine what our market area is for the businesses that seek to work on our projects. Next, we will use census data to identify how many businesses of the appropriate type are available in the area. After that, we will use the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises to determine how many DBEs are available in our market area. Finally, we will do some calculations to determine how many DBEs are available compared to non-DBEs. These projects are anticipated for bid between 2024 and 2026. We have several projects for Everett Station, including a fire alarm upgrade, a threat assessment for the station, and our biggest project, HVAC replacement. For passenger amenities, we have projects to install electronic signage at College and Mall Station, as well as install new shelters with wire mesh panels. On the operations side of the house, we will be looking for a generator replacement for the operations base. We will also be bidding for the engineering and design of a new transit maintenance facility. In addition, we are hoping to procure equipment to help train drivers using a driver simulator. To learn more about bid opportunities and to sign up to receive bid notifications, please visit the City of Everett's procurement page at everettwa.gov. The next step in our goal-setting process is to split the projects up into different components and assign the applicable NAICS codes to each component. For example, I have attached one of the projects we will advertise for bid soon, which is the fire alarm upgrade at Everett Station. We estimate 20% of this project will go toward electrical engineering and have assigned the applicable NAICS code and split up the total amount of FTA funds for that project. 15% of the project may go towards security services, and the remainder of the project is expected to go toward construction. Our market area was determined by a review of past participation in our federally assisted contracts. The majority of our participation came from within Snohomish County and King County, which are the counties we have included during the goal-setting process. Next, we will determine the number of businesses, both DBEs and non-DBEs, within our market area for our selected projects. This will be done using census data. Census data provides us with the number of businesses with the applicable NAICS codes. As you can see, there are a total of 854 businesses in our market area that offer engineering services. We can also see the availability of security and construction services we will need for the fire alarm project. Next, we will determine the availability of DBEs in these industries. Using the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises database, we will see that there are only 14 engineering firms registered as DBEs out of the 854 engineering firms in our market area. Finally, we will weight the availability of DBEs by the percentage of federal dollars on that project compared to the total federal dollars we will spend on all projects. To do this, we multiply the weight of the project by the availability of DBEs to get a weighted base figure for each project. Base figures for all federally assisted projects are then added up to equal the final base figure of 1.73%, which is rounded up to 2%. Our next step is to adjust the base figure. Adjustment to the base figure includes consideration of data from multiple sources. We reviewed our past goal attainment for the previous goal period of federal financial year 2021 to 2023 and found that we had a DBE participation rate of 0%, unfortunately. Everett Transit had very few capital projects from 2021 to 2023, largely due to the pandemic, so contracting opportunities were limited. In addition, we reviewed a disparity study conducted by Sound Transit in 2020. However, since Everett Transit has a smaller market area and much smaller contracts, these disparities may not be applicable to our DBE program, but we will continue to take this information into account during our goal-setting period. At this time, we have determined that an adjustment to our base figure is not necessary. We will also take future public comments from this discussion and from the public comment period into consideration before we submit our goal to the Federal Transit Administration. In addition to this presentation, we have a 45-day public comment period, which is running from June 13th to July 28th. You may submit your comment by visiting our website or by mail. Okay, now that we've covered how we have set our proposed goal, we're hoping to hear some feedback on what you think about our proposed goal. We are here live to receive your comments and answer any questions you may have. We have several questions for discussion, and these have also been posted in the chat. So, our first question that we would like to ask is if there's anything else that Everett Transit should be taking into consideration regarding the availability of DBEs. For example, are there any businesses you know of that would qualify as a DBE but just aren't registered? So I will give that a few seconds if anyone has any questions or comments to add. While we're waiting, I'm going to list out some of our 2024 projects again. So at the Everett Station, we have our fire alarm control panel upgrade, which will be going out to bid in 2024. We also have the HVAC system replacement. That is going to be in 2 phases, engineering and then construction. And we have the Everett Station threat assessment. So I'm not seeing any questions or comments yet. So I'll move on. Right. Our next question we would like to ask is if there's any knowledge you have about the effects of discrimination on DBEs. For example, what barriers continue to prevent DBEs from being awarded contracts? Great. And to wait for more comments or questions, I'm going to continue listing our projects. So for 2024, we also have our Everett Station threat assessment, and college and mall electronic signage projects. All right. The last question we would like to ask is if there are any suggestions for steps Everett Transit can take to improve opportunities for DBEs. Although we're a small transit agency with limited staffing, we strive to do our best to include DBEs in our projects, so we would really appreciate hearing from you.
One question popped in here. Is there any plan to introduce DBE firms to larger firms?
Okay, so I'm seeing the one question there. So we don't, I think that would be a better venue for that would be to go to the Economic Alliance of Snohomish County. They have a lot of resources to connect businesses with each other. There also might be resources that you could find on the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises. Yeah, and they both have websites. I believe the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprise was listed in the PowerPoint, so that link will be available to you. And after this presentation, we are going to upload this recording of this presentation to our YouTube channel, and it will also be on our website. So this video could be a good resource for anyone you know who wasn't able to attend, who would like to learn more about DBEs or the goal setting process. I also want to mention that our public comment period is still open until July 28th. So if you have any comments or questions that come up after this, we'd be happy to connect with you. You can submit a request on our website. And I don't see any other questions here. So I think that is all for today. So thank you all for attending, and like I said, please share this video recording of this presentation with anyone you know who may be interested in this. Thank you.